Hi guys, welcome to Origin, and hello Khalid3712. This is a response to your two videos that you did to my Sims video ages ago. So I'll just quickly preface this by saying I'm not trying to offend anyone, so I'm sorry if that comes out that way. I'm just going to go ahead and answer the things you said. First of all, when I told you about at the age of 6 I became an atheist thing, I might have slightly misrepresented that because at the age of 6, that was when I watched Casualty. It's a bit like House. I remember you mentioned House in the video, but when I watched Casualty, I saw that death. Like I said, I asked about it. I was skeptical about it, about the whole soul idea, going up to heaven or hell, but I didn't instantly become an atheist at that moment. Yes, I made a mistake there. I'm very sorry about that. Very unprofessional of me, and I'm sorry I made that mistake. I could say I concretely became an atheist at about the age of 14. I didn't. When I said I knew enough about the brain, I mean this is going quite later on, like into the second part of the video. But when I said I knew enough about the brain, it was just, just very basic things like the brain controls the arms, basically controls the whole body. That's all that I meant when I said that. And all I really needed to know was that much, to just say that, this whole concept of a soul being able to detach from the body and just go up to heaven or hell, that didn't quite satisfy me as an explanation. So that's all I meant. I'm definitely not a genius or whatever you make me out to be. It's just, but thank you for saying so, by the way, because that was very nice. Right, the next part, I said that I've never had a spiritual experience, and then you said that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that other people haven't, or that they're lying when they say they do. I agree with that. I never at any point said that just because I haven't had one that they didn't. The problem with that is that we can't just simply take their word for it. We need something more concrete in terms of evidence. Like, anyone could just come up to me and say, God has spoken to me, and all that stuff. I can't just take their word for it, because human beings have the ability to lie. It's as simple as that. So I'm not saying they're lying, but I'm just saying it's not good enough as evidence to say that there is a God. That's all. Well, I hope that's what most atheists mean when they say it, but it's certainly what I mean. Okay, the third part about the theory of evolution. You said that if I find it to be so compelling, then I should try and explain to you why these things came together. What I think you're trying to talk about there is abiogenesis. Basically the beginning of life without anything really starting life in the first place. In other words, life just coming into being. So that's up to this point been a scientific grey area. The truth of the fact is, and we're perfectly willing to admit this, we don't know yet. But we do have a couple of theories, such as primordial soup, which is chemicals, like proteins. These can come about. It's just a very, very basic chemical evolution. These just, molecules. I'm not much of a chemist, but it's just these molecules forming, however they do so, fusion, or the sun, or just collisions or something like that. But it's basically molecules formed in the Big Bang, and over time they, due to the gravity of the Earth, everything coming together, this soup springs into being, and from this soup, very, very simple life begins. Like, not even single-celled organisms. We don't even have cells yet. Just the basic components of a cell. They evolve. then they become single-celled organisms, then over billions of years they become, multicellular life, they become animals, and after 4.5 billion years they become us. That's just one explanation. There's another one, I think, where I'm not actually familiar with these explanations, but actually you asked why was it created. Well, if we're to go by a biogenesis, then there's absolutely no reason. They just happened. Something that happened like that with no creator or anything doesn't have a reason. It just happened. So that would be your answer. It's not anywhere close to a satisfactory answer, but we as the human race we don't have an answer to that question yet. So yeah, and we're perfectly willing to admit that. That's the beauty of atheism. We're open to change. If we get evidence, finally we get an answer, that's cool. Until that day, well, yeah. Alright, you also said, when I said the theory of evolution to be absolutely right, that you don't agree with this, because, well, I'll just say that, in the laboratory we've observed, evolution on a small scale, within species. We've seen that happen. I couldn't really point you to any evidence like that I've seen, but I'm sure there are plenty of people on YouTube who know far more about evolution than I do. But also, when you said about mutation, you said it was the will of Allah. My explanation would be that it's in fact that it is evolution, except it's very failed evolution. It's just like in an earlier video, Design in M Theory, I said if you search Tree Man or Elephant Man on YouTube, you come up with this guy who has roots growing on his arms and legs, and this guy who has a massive tumour on his face that's about 30 kilos. I see that as actually evolution, but a very, very failed form of it. Like, it doesn't help at all, it just... yeah. And that makes sense because evolution is random. But the thing about natural selection is that, well, basically when you have a beneficial gene, it helps the species to survive. So the new beneficial species grows faster than the species that came before it, and it becomes useless, so it dies off because it can't keep up with everything going on around it. So it's a very long story, and I'll cover it when I rehash my Evolution Sims video. I'll be updating that one soon. But that's my explanation for that so far.